the recording now. All right. Well, I am here with Karla Garcia. Uh, uh, Thank you very much for accepting to do this interview. Uh, can you tell us, like, where are you from, and at what age did you start stuttering?
Yes, thank you so much for inviting me. This is a very big privilege and something that I feel like I wish I had when I was a little bit younger, not too young, to share my story. Um, so I was born here in in Maryland in the United States. But my mom is from El Salvador and my dad is from Honduras. And I started to stutter like around 5 years old when I entered kindergarten.
Uh, do anyone else in your family is harder, or are you the only one?
Yes, my dad stutters, and my son, I have an oldest son who stutters. Because I have two boys.
Uh-huh.
So my oldest one, he's 8 now. He also stutters.
Okay, okay. Like, did you ever have, did you ever have any conversations about ordering in your family when you were growing up?
Yes, my dad, he was a huge advocate for me because he also stuttered. Um, because my mom, she followed what the doctors would tell her and what the speech therapists would tell her, which is to not stutter, to have me not stutter as much. And so speech therapy was very hard for me. And so I would cry a lot going to speech therapy, because back then, it was more focused on uh, being fluent, being very fluent. And so I couldn't. And so I felt like I was a failure a lot. That impacted my self-esteem a lot. And so there was a lot of back and forth between my mom and what she was trying to do. Because she's like, I'm just following what the therapist is telling me and what the pediatrician is telling me. And then my dad, who would say things like, you know, I never received therapy in Honduras and I'm a successful person. He took it more of like the verbal diversity route.
Uh-huh.
Um, and so when my mom would use strategies on me like, can I speak in Spanish in
Yeah,
this?
sure.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So when my mom would tell me, apúrate, apúrate, ter- termina de decir lo que tienes que decir porque estamos tarde. Um, my dad would tell her, cálmate, ya, déjala que ella toma su tiempo. Sí, mi reina, toma su tiempo. Um, I'm not saying that my mom was a bad guy because she definitely is not. She is an
Yeah.
amazing person, but she was doing her best the of based off of what the professionals were telling her. And my dad was doing his best based off of his personal experiences.
Mhm.
So growing up in a family where we had both ends, my grandma, my cousins, they would all kind of listen to the professional
Mhm.
aspect. um, my dad was a lot of the whole like, this is my experience, this is what she's going through. we need to give her the time. So the experience in the household was very tense. Just because they were both doing what they wanted, what they thought was best. So I had a lot of conflicting information about what do I do when I stutter
Mhm.
growing up.
Okay, yeah, yeah, that's an interesting thing. Like, if I was, well, if I am the only one in my family, so I didn't have like a someone around me with any kind of experience. But
Hmm.
my family was not mm, was not naturally on the other side. They were just take your time, and whenever you can say what you want to say, we will be here. So it's
Hmm. That's so nice.
yes, so it's interesting how different families have different reactions, you know.
Hmm. Yeah, I think it was impacted because at least for me, like on my mom's side of the family, I don't think anyone stuttered. So their exposure
Mhm,
to that experience wasn't as well exposed, in comparison to my dad, because
mhm.
my dad, but then again, my dad was the only one who stuttered on his side of the family. Um, so again, both of my parents did the best that they could. And my mom and myself, well, I'm a speech therapist because of my mom, but we'll talk about that later.
Uh-huh,
But um, because of my experiences, I have like provided educational resources to my whole family about my son.
mhm.
I would tell them like, this is how speech therapy is now. It used to be like this, but we're gonna go towards this route with my
Uh,
son. And so he stutters so freely. He loves himself. Like, that's what I want him to grow up in a very supportive environment.
all right. I already knew that you were an SLP, but you just said that you are an SLP because of your mom. Why is that?
Yes. My mom chose my career and everything.
Okay.
Um, Unintentionally, right? Um, so my mom, I love my mom so much. And so I'm very, 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 very close to her.
Mhm.
And she saw how much I struggled in speech therapy. She saw how much I disliked it. Um, I actually had an IEP up until sixth grade, where I had
What is an IEP?
an IEP. It stands for Individualized Educational Plan,
Okay.
and it's a plan for students who qualify for special education,
Okay.
and they get services, accommodations, supplementary aids and services to be successful in school.
Okay. Gotcha.
And yes, and so because my stuttering was really severe, um, what ended up happening was I qualified for the IEP, so I was in special education for a couple years, and I don't remember honestly the speech therapy that I received at school. My memory's not the best. I do remember receiving speech therapy in a private practice though, because I remember they would have me do strategies. And then when I would apply them in school, I would get bad grades because I sounded too robotic or I was talking too slow.
Uh-huh.
So, the experience wasn't great, So I went to college and my major was psychology.
Okay.
And I didn't do too well in the class. So I told my mom, "Oh, I really wanted to be a psychologist." And she's like, "Well, why don't you become a speech therapist?" And I was like, "Está loca. Why am I going to be a speech therapist when I didn't even like to go to speech therapy?
Uh-huh.
Like that was traumatizing for me." And she's like, "Pues sí, puedes meterse en esa carrera. You can go into the field to make it better. You can change it." And I
Uh-huh.
was like, "Huh." So then I switched my major and here I am. So because of my mom's like different perspective of
Uh-huh.
the field, allowed me to touch into that curiosity, and here I am, a speech therapist now.
All right, yeah, like that's a great idea, and actually, I have seen that with within our generation, how like some of us didn't have the best experience with therapy. So we
Hmm.
were like, oh, we are going to do something to
Yes.
change that.
Yes.
Okay, good. Like, yeah, I have noticed that when you talk about your family, you switch into Spanish. Did you did you generally use Spanish at home?
Yes. Yes, so I am married and so I'm in my own home with my family, like my husband and my kids. So I speak both,
Uh-huh.
but I speak only in Spanish to my kids.
Okay.
Mostly. I
Uh-huh.
try to speak Spanish to my kids.
Uh-huh.
Hmm. But when I like visit my parents, yeah, I think I speak to them in Spanish now that I'm thinking about it. Yeah, mostly in Spanish. Yeah.
Okay. Do you notice difference within your own speech between English and Spanish?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yes. I stutter a whole lot more in Spanish
Really?
than
Okay.
in English. I have stuttered less in Spanish over the last maybe 2 years.
Uh-huh.
No, 3 years, maybe, or maybe four. Some within the
Mhm.
last couple of years.
Okay.
Um, because I've had to use a lot more Spanish with my Spanish speaking families at my private practice.
Oh, okay.
So that has forced me to really uh say Spanish words that I stuttered so much in. Now I'm a lot more fluent in comparison, but um I still get stuck on like a lot of words. Like I know which words I'm gonna stutter on,
Uh-huh.
so I try to mentally prep myself for it. It still happens.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Um, but yes, I stutter a lot more in Spanish than in English.
Okay. And what about the reactions you receive? Like, do you see any difference between between English and Spanish speakers?
Uh, Not different. They both react the same way.
Uh-huh.
Um, they and I'm sure they don't intend to do this, but I'm on the other side looking at them.
Uh-huh.
So, um, they do give me like a weird like oh
Look.
type of face.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, like a look. And then I'm like, oh no, my secret's out. Like I because when I was younger, I'm like, este es mi secreto.
Uh-huh.
And then they've discovered it if they look at me like that. Um, Over the phone, I have received a lot more patience with my families, even new ones.
Uh-huh.
Um, they would most of them, not all of them, but most of them would allow me to finish what I have to say. Some of them still try to finish what I have to say, and it's not the right word and say something else.
Uh-huh.
Um, but both English and Spanish speakers would give me like a look whenever I would end up having a stuttering moment because now I'm like 80% fluent. So
Mhm.
when I have that moment, it's like, oh, I had like they had no idea type
Uh-huh.
of thing. Um, but yeah, that's mostly for adults. For my kids, le vale. They don't care.
Okay.
They're just because I see kids who stutter too, and um, yeah, they just don't care.
Okay. Uh-huh. You said that when they this discover it, so uh, you don't say it in advance.
No,
Ah, interesting.
no,
What is why?
I only because I talk to a lot of people,
Mhm.
a lot of different people, and so um it's a lot for me to do advertising. I only do advertising when um like for example when there's an IEP meeting
Mhm.
and there's like a lawyer involved or an
Oh,
advocate. That makes me so I mean I'm very confident in what I'm gonna say,
uh-huh.
but because they have those positions, my body just, it's like it's similar to when you're driving and you haven't drinking anything, you have your license, like you're all together and then you see a cop car behind you. Your
Uh-huh.
body just like all of a sudden like I have to drive the best. It's just a natural
Uh-huh.
reaction. So when there's an IP meeting, when I see an advocate and a lawyer, it's a natural reaction for me to get a little bit nervous. So, in order for them to not judge my knowledge and for them to not think that I don't know what I'm talking about and to give me time to explain things, I do the advertisement in the beginning. I say, I am a person who stutters, so I would greatly appreciate your patience to allow me to finish my thoughts if you see me having a moment or something like
Mhm.
that. I used to say, I'm sorry, but I learned that if you say you're sorry, then you're making stuttering as like a bad thing. Like it's not a good thing.
Mhm.
When in reality it's not a bad thing. So I've changed my vocabulary to thank you for being patient with me if I have a moment of stuttering. Um, and so there I advertise. I also advertise if I'm doing like a presentation, like for career day.
Mhm.
But when I talk to people, no, no, which is probably why they look at me in
Mhm.
a way when like, oh, I wasn't expecting that. So,
Okay. Um, when did you get involved with the with the community? Like, how old were you and how was it?
honestly, the first time I even got involved in the community was through Tim Flynn. I don't know if you, yeah, he's a great person. Um, I didn't know that there was even a stuttering community. I thought it was just, it felt like me and my dad. against the whole world. Like, that's it. There's no one else that stutters. Because in my school, in elementary, middle, and high school, I was the only person that I was aware of that stuttered. Um, so thanks to Tim, he invited me to a stuttering group. I didn't even know those existed either. I was like, this is great, this is nice. And I just kind of started Googling then like other support groups and things like that. I'm gonna be honest, I'm not as involved as I would like to be because I work a lot. I work 6 days a week and I have my kids. I have, I have a lot on my plate. Um, but that's how I discovered that there was a community for us. Um, it was extremely welcoming, and I'm actually going to my first stuttering convention this summer. Um, by through friends. And so I'm excited to meet other people who stutter, other families who have gone through this similar path as my families, and also other speech therapists that are also going there to learn more. So yeah, I'm very excited.
When you first showed up, was it was it just you, or did you uh, bring your son and or your dad?
I would have loved to bring my dad, my husband, and my son, but unfortunately, will just be me. Yeah.
No, I meant when you first when you first discovered the community, did you did you
Oh,
show up by yourself, or did you come to the meetings with somebody else?
no, it would just be me in the Zoom meetings. I did invite one of my cousins. Well, she's my cousin through marriage because one of my primo hermanos got married to her, and she is also a person who stutters. She lives in Guatemala, de Honduras, pero vive en Guatemala, and she was just like me. We a covert stutterer. And so I invited her to the virtual group that Tim was hosting and everything, like their monthly meetings, the NSA, and she loved it. But because of the time zone difference and because because of her medical field, her scheduling was very difficult, but she was able to join at least one time. And I just wanted her to kind of know that there is a community out there for people like us. So I haven't invited my son, but I would like in the future to invite them to to a stuttering convention, um, so that way they can experience other people who stutter. But like for this year, it's just going to be me in the convention, going to the convention. But in the Zoom meeting, it was my other cousin who also stutters.
Oh, interesting. Uh, 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 like since has your son being 20 support groups?
Mm-mm. No, he hasn't gone to any. Um, because I think I would, like I said, like my schedule's really, really like jam-packed. So I haven't had the time to sit down with him and tell him like, hey, like why don't we do this activity that they have, like, for people who stutter. Um, honestly, he kind of forgets that he's a person who stutters. I always tell him, oh, Aiden, in the beginning, I was like, Aiden, I really like how, you still told me what you wanted to say. And he's like, what? I stutter? Like, we just make it like when he was young, we just made him accept himself for who he is. And so now it's just, I don't know, it's like his voice, like he accepts his voice so much that he just, I don't know, he just doesn't even notice that he stutters, even though, well, he knows that he stutters, but he doesn't really say, yes, I'm a person who stutters the same way that I do. He's a little bit more, um, I guess, concerned because stuttering is not really impacting his life, is his ADHD, because he does also have ADHD. So that is a little bit more impactful for him. So we're trying to navigate that neurodiversity component of him versus the stuttering, because stuttering, he's like, um, I don't care. This is who I am. Um, which is ironic because the kids at school bully him more for his ADHD and not for his stuttering.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, like
Hmm.
they was going going to ask how his ex uh, how his experience with it is, but yeah, he seems like he's okay with it, and not really burdened with it,
Yes,
right?
yes,
Uh-huh.
yeah,
All
yeah.
right. Yes, I say that on your Instagram, like you are really clear about being a bilingual SLP. What kind of differences do you see between like the knowledge or education that exists between both of the communities?
The English and
Uh-huh.
the Spanish speaking, what are
Uh-huh.
the differences?
Uh-huh.
Um, I believe one of the main differences is with the Spanish speaking families that we service, they are my English speaking families are also thankful for what they receive. But there's something about the Spanish community where they're extremely grateful. Like they're they're so like I if I could see their kid like once a month, they're like, "Oh my goodness, this is a big difference for us," type of thing. I think it's because the resources for Spanish speaking families are limited. And so when they receive those services, they understand that this is like, it's not as common. Um, and I feel like also with the Spanish speaking families, they feel um they talk to me a lot more versus the English speaking families. And I think it's because number one, they see my Spanish speaking families, they see somebody who looks like them and who can understand their language. And they don't get that a lot in the medical field, maybe, or at the schools or something like that. Their comfort level is also very much more like they're just so much more comfortable with me and sharing like every detail about their life compared to my English speaking families. They go in there for speech therapy, they're very grateful, and then they leave. And then my Spanish speaking families, I have, and I tell, my English speaking families know that I do this for them too, but I feel like my Spanish speaking families, because of them, I am now aware of a lot of resources like housing resources, transportation resources for those who have low income or for those who have Medicaid. I didn't know there were these resources out there or these nonprofits. I didn't know about any of that until they came into my life, and and they share with me a lot, and they're like, "Oh, we need help." Like, "Oh, we Ubered here." And and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I can't have them Uber here. Let me find something for them." Unfortunately, we're going through something with immigration and the immigration laws. So I'm also supporting them that way too. I've been connecting with the senators and congressmen and their lawyers and I'm just grabbing resources left and right. I'm like, these are your rights. I just give them to everybody. I'm like, who knows? So, I think that's the difference. I have definitely learned a lot more in terms of what's out there in the community from my Spanish speaking families because they ask me, like, can you help me with, and it's not even speech related, but they know that I'm more than happy um, to help them with that. I think that's the main
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, okay. That sounds great. And you can see the the passion in you when you are speaking about about helping your families.
Thank you. Thank
That's
you.
great. Well, like we are getting close to the end of this. Like, what is something that you wish that others knew about is, stuttering?
Yes. I wish that other people wouldn't talk to us like we don't understand. I get a lot of when I was younger, I would get a lot of conversations like simplified because they thought that stuttering was related to your cognitive level. Um, so I would love for people to understand that we are smart, very smart too. Um, And to also kind of keep in mind that when someone advertises, like sometimes when I do this, people, and it comes from a good place. When I say I'm a person who stutters and the person tries to sympathize and not make me feel bad, they say, "Oh my gosh, I stutter too." Everybody stutters. I can't really correct them because I know they're saying it with a lot of love and understanding, but in reality, not everyone stutters. My experiences um, were real. My struggles are real. Bullying was a huge factor, unfortunately, in my life that impacted my self-esteem because of my stuttering. And so when someone tells me, "Oh, I do it too," and everybody does, it just kind of devalues what I have went through, what we as people who stutter have gone through. And so it's best to, acknowledge like, "Oh, okay, or sometimes when I say I stutter, they say, "Oh, I didn't even notice." Like, but I still am a person who stutters. I still have my moments. And so, just, when people hear that I'm a person who stutters, I just want the listener to acknowledge that and to continue and to be patient as we speak and everything, and to not finish our sentences and to tell us, take a deep breath or anything like that. I think just hearing us is more than enough. um so that would be my advice for those who approach someone who stutters.
Excellent. Is there anything else that you wish to share with whoever watches this video?
Yes, I would say that speech therapists are moving towards the route of acceptance. And so don't take my negative experience when I was younger into consideration if you want to seek out help, because we are here to help you emotionally and accept um, your your stutter, and so we are trying to make the movement, and hopefully, I try to reach out to as many speech therapists as possible to let them know that I'm available for any questions or anything to help them with any hard cases, or educate on, like, just because a kid stutters doesn't mean they need speech therapy. We need to look at other things, their emotional impact. Are they saying what they want to say? Things like that. So for those who stutter, I need speech therapy? Not necessarily. Um, and if you're a person who stutters, who's struggling, who is a covert stutterer, just like how I used to be, you are definitely not alone. You are not the only person that feels that way. And that there are community support groups that are available now that probably were not available when I was young, and I wish I could have taken